Okay, let's get started. So here in the B part, B1 part, we're going to talk about the costs. Okay. So there are several types of costs you've already seen, possibly. Accounting costs, right? Implicit cost and explicit cost. Accounting cost is an explicit cost, right? And here then we're looking at and some other categories of costs. And here we have fixed cost and sunk cost. So sunk costs are costs that have been incurred and cannot be recovered. There is an old saying goes, don't cry over the spilled milk. That's the spilled milk. Okay. For instance, if you have invested in some specific thing, such as, say, if I am the only one here in this region who knows how to make Chinese noodles, and I have a noodle machine, I'm running my own restaurants, and then I decide, say, because of COVID, I don't have any clients, then I decide to shut it down. And when I shut down, because nobody else knows how to use the noodle machine to make noodles, then I can't sell my machine to any secondhand, right? So in that, then my initial investment in purchasing the noodle machine is sunk because I can't get the money back. There is no way for me to recover this money. In essence, it is sunk cost. And fixed cost actually should affect the firm's decision looking forward, while sunk costs do not. Okay, fixed costs are those costs that are spent as and you can also consider as the entry cost, as the open up cost, right? For instance, if we want to do a class, if we want to do an education business, we need classrooms, we need facilities, we need tables, we need lightings. All those things should be installed even before any classes start, right? In that case, and no matter how many classes are taught in that classroom, right, we need to still have this room vacant, namely there is opportunity cost for this room, right? Or you can consider if we own this room, then we avoid the rental fee for this room, right? That is fixed cost, right? Because this room is there no matter how many classes are run, right? If you have one class, this room's cost $100 per day, that is incurred. If you have 3 classes, that's still $100 per day for this room. And also for those facilities, right? For like tables, lightings. So these are the fixed cost. And how will fixed cost become sunk cost? Well, like I said, that is something specific. Say when you leave the industry, you can't get the money back, right? But like table, desk, lighting, even lighting, and room, land, those kind of things. Yes, you do need them to start your business, and the cost on them don't change, even though you change, say, the number of classes that you offer. So they are fixed costs for sure. But when you leave the business, you can easily resell your task, right? You can easily rent out the place. You can easily convert, say, classrooms into office area, right? In that sense, this money is recoverable, right? So that is why this cost should be considered as fixed cost, not sunk cost. Okay. All right. So those are how should we distinguish between these two costs. Okay. Then let's look at some more mathematical and economical part of costs. One is marginal cost. In week 1, when we talk about marginal benefit, right? So the marginal is its economic synonym is additional. So marginal cost is actually additional cost, increment of cost, right? It's defined as increase in cost resulting from the production of one extra unit of product. So now you are here in the shoes of producers, producing products, right? It is costly for you to expand your production. And here we just want to be sensitive, we just want to be accurate. We want to see how many cost, to which extent your cost should increase for each additional unit of output being produced. Okay. So since fixed cost doesn't change at all, the only thing in the cost that contributes to marginal cost is variable cost, right? Say if variable cost increases by 5, say if 5 more classes are taught, right? If 5 more classes are taught and it's more cost, we need to hire 5 professors. Say for each class taught one time is $100. Then for 5 classes taught in total, it is the increase in the variable cost is 500, right? It is variable cost because the cost does change with Q, and here Q is number of courses or classes offered, right? If you don't offer any class, you don't need to hire a professor. The cost goes to 0. If you teach more classes, you need to hire more professors, right? The cost increases. So the cost varies with how many courses produced, namely Q. Therefore, this part of cost is variable cost, right? So here, your variable cost increases by $500 by opening 5 classes in a day, right? Delta VC is 500, and Q is the number of courses. Here we have increment in 5 classes, so delta Q equal to 5. Then your marginal cost is 500 over 5, which is 100. That is the cost estimated, the estimated increment in cost per additional unit of output being produced. Okay. And then those averages are pretty straightforward, right? You have 5 classes in total. You made 20 points, right? Then 20 credit points. Then each class is 20 over 5, which is 4.0. Okay. So here it is just to use whatever cost that you're looking into to be divided by the level of output. So we're gonna see like the purpose to measure on average, right? What the cost is per each product produced, right? So average total cost is total cost over Q, average fixed cost is fixed cost over Q, average variable cost is variable cost over Q. So we have a practice question that I specifically designed for you, and you can find the answer key on the slides as well. I will post the slides on Canvas together with the video. Okay, so here we have those numbers. It seems that we have a lot of blanks to fill. Don't worry, we're gonna work on this little by little, and it's, to be honest, I believe it's very accomplishing. Right, you're like figuring out how to solve the myth. Okay, how to solve the puzzle. So let's look at this. Here it seems that fixed cost is 50, right? Because fixed cost is fixed, and here you've already seen from 0 to 1, it is fixed. So it's actually 50 overall, right? And here we have fixed cost, variable cost. Fixed cost plus variable cost is total cost, right? Like here, fixed cost is the cost of room, the cost of desk. No matter how much classes are taught in this classroom, those are fixed. right? And those are, say, salary to professors, right? If we need more classes to be taught, then we need to hire more professors to serve in this room, right? Then as the amount of classes increase, then the variable cost, the salary should increase, right? And they added up to your total cost. So here, 50 plus 0, your total cost is 50. 50 plus 50, your total cost is 100. And here you know the total cost already, you know the fixed cost already. You can calculate the difference, which is variable cost. And in this case, that's 128 minus 50, which is 78. Okay, we are making progress to proceed. Okay, so marginal cost is how much your variable cost has changed over the quantity change. So here, the good thing is quantity change is always 1 across all. Then that means the bottom equals to 1. So here we are only looking into the change in variable cost between the two rows, right? But here, when you were at 0, there was no prior condition for you to compare to. Therefore, there is no marginal cost for this, right? And the average fixed cost, so the average cost is the cost over Q. In general, you can fit in things in the middle to make it the cost of whatever. Let me show you. So average fixed cost, then it is the fixed cost over Q. Average total cost is the total cost over Q. Average variable cost is the variable cost over Q. Okay, so here, because Q equals to 0, right? Then something divided by 0, those are undefined. So here we finished the first column and first row. Then let's proceed. Here, marginal cost, that is change in your total cost or change in your variable cost over delta Q, which is 1. So here it is just the change in your cost, which is 50. And average fixed cost, that's fixed cost over Q, which is 150. Variable cost, average variable cost over Q, 50. Average total cost over Q, 100. For Q equal to 2, marginal cost, again, is, say, either the change in variable cost or the change in total cost, because fixed cost doesn't change, right? The change in total cost is the change in variable cost, whichever you prefer. So here, this is easy to calculate. 28 is the difference in your cost for producing the second product. Okay, and then average fixed cost is 50 over 2, 25. Average variable cost, 78 over 2, which is 39. And average total cost, 128 over 2, 64. Okay, by the way, because of this is an equation you can divide the same thing to both sides. If you divide Q, then it is FC over Q plus VC over Q equal to TC over Q. And here, the first one is average fixed cost. The second one is average variable cost. And third one is average total cost. You can verify. 50 plus 50 equals to 100. 25 plus 39 equals to 40. It gives you a second way to double check yourself. Okay, so the conclusion is the combination of average fixed cost and average variable cost should be your average total cost. Okay, so let's proceed to finish. All right, then for variable cost, for this case, Q equals to 3, marginal cost is the change in variable cost, as we discussed. Also the change in total cost, because fixed cost doesn't change, right? So here, change in variable cost should be 20, then it means the variable cost should grow to 98. 78 plus 20. The total cost should grow to 100, up to 148. 128 plus 20. So here we can double check 50 plus 98 equals to 180. Bingo. Okay, so average fixed cost, then it is 50 over 3. Average variable cost, 98 over 3. And average total cost, 148 over 3. Okay, then for number 4, okay, we know that average total cost is 40.5. Then we can reversely utilize this. Average total cost is total cost over Q. Then if you know Q and average total cost, the total cost, let me put it here. Total cost is average total cost by Q. Right? If I know that your average GPA is 4 and you've taken 5 classes, then the total credit points that you have is 4 by 5, which is 20, right? So here it is the same. We just need to multiply 4 to 40.5. The result is 162. Okay? Then calculate the difference between these two. We can figure out the variable cost, which is 112. And you calculating the difference of variable cost, all the difference of total cost, you should get the same result, which is marginal cost, right? Increase in your total cost by producing this additional unit of product, the 4th unit of product. Okay, so that is 162 minus 48. We have 14 as your marginal cost for the 4th product. And average fixed cost is 50 over 4, which is 12.5. And average variable cost is 112 over 4, which is 28. Okay, and in the 5th question, we have average variable cost. We have number 5. Again, we're reversely utilizing this. Okay, so the variable cost is then average variable cost by Q, 26 by 5. The result is 130. And your total cost is a combination of these two, combination of fixed cost and variable cost, that brings your total cost to 180. Okay, then the marginal cost is the difference of your total cost, which is 18. And you can verify the difference of your variable cost is also 18. This is good. Okay, average fixed cost 50 over 5, 10. Average total cost 180 over 5, 36. So this is how we utilize comprehensively all those formula that we know to help fill in the blanks.